What's up, everybody? Liam Murphy back. Going to be talking about NFL news today related to best ball. Going to be streaming my first DraftKings Best Ball. DraftKings is more of the Wild West of the best ball world. You can find all those rankings live at beatbestball.com. Updated the DraftKings, updated the underdog yesterday, and then also today. We are adjusting for the news as it comes in. On that topic, news. Evan Ingram is officially a Bronco. Would have preferred he's a Charger, but pretty good landing spot for him, in my opinion. Don't think he should have fallen as much as he did in best ball drafts when he was cut from the Jags, fell about 20 spots. Have him ranked around, the Kincaid, the Loveland group. Is it possible he burns you? Sure, but target competition isn't stiff with the Broncos. And of course, we have the Joker role where we saw the Jimmy Grahams of the world, etc., which isn't really Ingram. He's not a blocker, but he's not competing with a lot of guys for targets. He got decent money. Noah Brown, officially back with the Commanders. It's an okay dart throw. Raheem Mostert signs with the Raiders. They're very likely to draft a rookie quite high, but pretty good landing spot depending how the draft goes. Cooper Kupp officially released. Gotta imagine a team like the Patriots signs him, but we will see there. Jags would be a pretty fun landing spot. Chris Godwin replacement. No, that's not one. We already knew that. KJ Osborne is also signing with the Commanders or re-signing. So you got Noah Brown, you got KJ Osborne, some depth pieces, really. Not big fantasy pieces there. Mac Jones is a 49er. Kind of funny. Of course, Kyle Shanahan was rumored to want Mac Jones a lot in the draft. Mike Williams back with the Chargers. He becomes a worthy dart throw in that Gabe Davis range. Drawing live to be a 0 with his injury history, but the nut landing spot for him perhaps means Keenan Allen returning is a little less likely. Are they really going to bring him back both? Rico Dowdle is a Panther. I saw a lot of people celebrating this as a win for Chuba Hubbard. I wouldn't say that myself. Of course, is it better that Rico Dowdle lands with the Panthers than Omarion Hampton? Sure, it is. However, it was always unlikely that a running back as good as Omarion Hampton was going to land with the Panthers at all. So, I think it is okay. But I personally think both Chuba and Rico should go a little bit down in drafts. It's not like Rico isn't a capable rusher, right? This guy rushed for 1,000 yards. Is it possible Chuba's just the clear 1A and Rico's a pure handcuff? It is. I wouldn't say that's likely, though. I think Chuba will be the passing down back. I think Rico will get some work around the goal line. He'll get some of the between the 20s work. So, fine landing spot for Rico. Not like he's a dead guy in fantasy. I wouldn't say it's a great sign for Chuba, like some people are trying to say. But they could have signed no one. They could have signed Khalil Herbert. That would have been better than signing Rico Dowdle. Speaking of Khalil Herbert, he is a Colt. Probably the RB2, but, we've been burned a lot on guessing the Colts RB2. He's a worthy dart throw at end of drafts. And we're still waiting on the Aaron Rodgers news. I personally don't think it makes any sense that the Vikings are going to sign him. That sounds more like he's just trying to get paid more money. That should do it for the news. We're doing DraftKings rankings. They are live at beatbestball.com. $100 a year. Get your rankings for all the major sites. News for me, no streams for me next week. It's my girlfriend's spring break, so will not be will not be streaming next week. We're going on vacation for her spring break. Already said that, Steve. You're a little late with that. But yes, he is a Raider. I mean, the man is 34, maybe 33. Yeah, he's going to be 33. So he's okay, right? Is it possible he gives you some good weeks? Sure. Is it possible he's purely depth? Yep. Again, what a lot of GMs like to do in free agency is they like to fill the gaps, fill the holes, so they're not forced to do anything. But yeah, we can presume that the Raiders will be drafting a running back pretty high in the draft when you have Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly there. So DraftKings, what's the biggest difference? Obviously, it's a PPR site. It is also 20 rounds. Really, the biggest difference, though, is there's also 3-point bonuses for throwing 300 yards, getting 100 receiving yards, getting 100 rushing yards. The biggest difference, though, is how people act, where it's more of the Wild West. For example, Josh Allen is going as a 3-4 turn. You just saw him go as a second-round pick in this draft. So on that topic, quarterbacks tend to go higher on the aggregate on DraftKings in general, meaning that when people are, when you get to the like Baker Mayfield range, Jared Goff range, those guys are 7-8 picks on Underdog. There are going to be DraftKings drafts where those guys goes as 5-6 picks. So basically, you think you need to adjust to your room a little bit more on DraftKings, right? Where on Underdog, especially in 18 rounds, you can almost always get a starting quarterback in the 18th round. Could be Derek Carr, could be Shadur Sanders, whatever, but you can get one. On DraftKings at times, all the quarterbacks will be gone by the 13th round. So you really do need to pay attention to what people are doing. Unfortunately, there is no mobile app, so it is just like a worse platform in that sense. Let me know what camera you guys like better. You want me to cut off the one hole here or cut off the upper part of the board? Maybe I can do this. There we go. See, we could see all the quarterbacks going a bit higher here. They are ranked that way, so that's just a DraftKings initial rankings. We're not acquiescing to the DraftKings rankings over here. This is a pretty nice start, pretty rare start on Underdog. Jefferson, McConkey, Bucky, Irving. Feels good to me. Don't you think it's more likely every day the Panthers don't make a move for a wideout, they're going to draft Tet? I mean, I don't know why the Panthers come top of mind for you. Number one, they restructured Adam Thielen, so he is coming back. Number two, there are not a lot of wide receivers to make a move for anymore, right? They pick at 10, I believe. Let's see. Panthers. No, they pick at 8. So could they draft Tet? Yes. But there's a lot of teams around there that need wideout. Cowboys, they have absolutely no one behind CeeDee Lamb. The Bears, they could want a third guy, right? Everyone assumes they're going running back, but they could definitely want a third guy depending how they view Tet. Obviously, the Patriots need wide receiver. The Chargers need wide receiver. They draft after the Panthers, but the Giants, do they really want to go into the year with just Slayton, Neighbors, and Wandale? And Jalen Hyatt, who, afterthought? Probably not, right? So I don't know. Opinions on Tet have been all over the place. Some people view him as a top 10 pick. Some people view him as a top 5 pick. Some people view him as a top 30 pick. So then you got teams like the Texans who still need wide receiver. You know, they're definitely not done with just Nico and Kirk. So the Jags, they need wide receiver. Yeah, Jared, brother. We've done underdog everything previously, so probably going to do 2 DraftKings today. Throw a bone to the DraftKings folks. See what's going on over here. So most of this is pretty normal so far, and I would assume the people drafting on DraftKings at 2 p.m. Eastern on March 13th, probably more normal behavior than the people you might encounter at night or late. Am I going to max DK on or off stream? I'm not maxing anything on stream. We don't need gimmicks on this channel. We just have success. Maybe 1 year if I feel like it, I'll max a contest on stream, but I doubt I'll max DK. I could see myself maxing underdog mostly because I'm at 50 or so, and I enjoy drafting on underdog, right? Like late at night, if I'm watching a movie or a show or something, I could throw an underdog draft on, got my rankings in there, don't have to pay that close attention. Just check up on my picks and go ahead and draft. I can't really do that on DraftKings because, again, they don't have a draft board on the mobile app. And without the draft board, requires way too much attention on mobile. And so, I just don't see myself grinding the time. I did want to mention the contest structure. It is very top heavy as well. Where, let's see. Let's do Hampton just because I wouldn't say we know, by the way, killer value on Chase Brown, but I don't have a feel for this room yet. And, if people start ripping Alvin Kamara, James Conner, Ken Walker, I just have a feeling I'm going to be able to get good values on wide receivers later. In general, it is less wide receiver avalanche, but the whole market is as a whole this year as well. Let's see here. DraftKings structure. Yeah, and like on underdog, Joe Burrow's an example. Like on an underdog, I'm never taking Joe Burrow at the 4-5 turn. On DraftKings, I think it's fine because I just don't think the player pool is as sharp and or thinking, which doesn't mean it's easier to win, mind you, right? But some people think that way, but I don't. But yeah, like I just don't think you're going to get Joe Burrow in the 6-7 on DraftKings as much. Let's see here. So it is 200K to first, 2 out of 12 advanced normal, 1 out of 12, 1 out of 12, 136 person final. So kind of a reasonable person-sized final. The rake is outrageous. I'm not done the math myself, but I believe it's like 17% or something. Yeah. See, this is what makes the Hampton pick quite good. David Montgomery goes at the 412, right? So more of the Wild West over here. 200K to first, 102K to second, 50K to third. Sixth place gets 20 grand. So sixth place gets 10% of first. 10th place gets 10 grand. So that gets a 20th of first. So you can see it's very top heavy as well. And yeah, I was going to take Devonta Smith, and he's still there for me. So quite a fortunate / good run out. That's what I've seen posted. I can do the math on the rake. Let's see. Total prizes is $1 million. And there's 117K people times 10. So yeah, it is 17%, basically. Not quite. It's a little under that. Let's see. 1 million. Let's do the calculator. Okay, 1 million divided by so 15% rake on DraftKings. Because there's $1 million in prizes, and there's like 1.17 million 5 in money. So 85% of the total prize pool is available. Or maybe I'm doing that backwards. Let's see. Yeah. 15%. At 15%, what's the incentive to even draft on there? I mean, some people can only draft DraftKings. Again, yeah, you can get some unique combos. For example, Devonta Smith goes as a 3-4 turn. I just got him at the 5th. But no, it's pretty egregious. Don't get me wrong. It's pretty egregious by under. The other thing is that DraftKings typically overlays, which means that when it overlays, the contest does not fill. So I'm sure they're raking it higher to account for the overlay. Where if you assume that the contest is only 80% filled, basically the contest is rake free. Right? Let's see what Underdog's rake is. Underdog's rake is 10.4%. I would say most pre-draft drafters hate to stack. 2 out of 12 advancing rather than 3 out of 12. How does that change your draft strategy? For me, Charles, none at all. If I was trying to make a very minor point, I would say that more extreme builds are acceptable than with 3 out of 12. So we do get a pure 0 RB drafter. Somewhat rare on Underdog. I mean, on DraftKings, also probably just not as good. We are seeing the Chuba fall out a little bit. Some of the players are just ranked differently too. We got quite a balanced build here. 2 running backs, 3 wideouts. Feels quite good, honestly. Some nice late stacking options. See, this is egregious for me. Najee Harris pick 68. Yeah. And you can sort between rankings and ADP, and I do recommend you do that. Yeah, sure, Henderson. We're getting the rookie RBs. I think the bigger thing is that this contest, my guess is it gets 80% filled. So, in a sense, it's rake free. Come on in, Willow. Had to let the cat into the office. You know, not adjusting for McMillan. This guy's obviously just doing his own thing here. Montgomery, Sutton, Jonnu, McMillan. Yeah, the incentive is to win 200 grand. But I make this point every year, and people think, oh, drafters are terrible. I'm going to go win on DraftKings. When the truth is, let's just collect the whole gang here. All the highly drafted rookies. Seems good to me. But yeah, if drafters are terrible, well, that doesn't necessarily mean it's easier to win. Actually, it could be harder to win because you can't control for being in a room with terrible drafters, right? Where like if you need to be in a room with someone taking whatever, a team of like DJ Moore in the first, Khalil Herbert in the second, whatever, like you can't control for that. So you kind of prefer when there's not like huge variance in how people behave. No, I'm in the same mindset. I think Olave is a great value. So with this group of four, it's an interesting group, right? Because Irving, Hampton, Henderson, Johnson, probably one of these guys is the starter from the jump, but it's not guaranteed. Like Hampton, Cowboy starter, quite possible. Sorry, let me let the cat out now. Can't make up its mind. I'll leave it cracked for her. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the 7 wide receiver start. Could work. I've done it myself, but I don't know. My assumption is I'm going to get some good values. Was kind of counting to get a guy like Ibuka. Has quite a low ranking right now on DraftKings. Whether people watching this stream right now are in this draft with me also matters a lot. Because if people are watching the stream, well, then they're probably fine drafters on the aggregate. Whereas if you just catch a random population of DraftKings drafters, that's when you can see the Wild West. So try to just jump in a little early to just try to catch one and see what it is. And we are catching some guys like that. I mean, I like Ken Walker a lot more than Najee. So we'll see here. Didn't quite get the value at wide receiver like I thought I would, but we'll see. Could still turn out fine. Not seeing a really crazy quarterback run either. That seems very unlikely. He doesn't catch passes like that. Yeah, we'll take Josh Downs. Kind of the end of a tier. Decent boom bust guy. So we got the 4-4. Yeah, I think Ayuk will play. I am worried about it, but I have a hard time passing on him at the same time. Remember, money's won week 17. If that's his ceiling, I'm prone to think he goes way under that. It's always good to take note of people who do and don't stack. This guy stacks. I'm going to just guess that this guy doesn't stack. Also, he's now on auto draft. A nice thing about DraftKings is they do put people on auto draft, which just saves you a lot of time. I don't know why Underdog doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I have some concern, man, but simply gotta take him, in my opinion, where if he's just like fully healthy this year, could perform as a first round pick. I've always said that when he loses a step, he won't be Tyreek anymore, but I wouldn't say that for sure has happened. Thoughts on Cam Ward as a prospect? I mean, in general, Klinka, if he goes as the first overall pick, I'm going to take him. This is kind of how I do the rookies. I don't get tied down in the minutia of like, oh, this guy's gonna like. I don't pretend to know more than the NFL on that. So yeah, it's time. What is it time to do? I think we'll just take Herbert here. Having Ladd. Possibly he would have been there for me, but doesn't really matter to me. There's going to be players I want there at the 10th anyways. Like, I think other ranking providers and just the market as a whole acquiesced to my strategy last year where the year Stroud came out, Stroud was one of my highest drafted quarterbacks because he was the second overall pick and he was an 18th round pick in best ball. It was simple as that for me. Other people were like, oh, Stroud won't be good. And then he was awesome. And then people saw that and they were like, okay, Bo Nix and Drake May, like, got to get him. Right. So if you're a rookie, you're highly drafted, you're cheap in drafts. I'm not too tied down on like your range of outcomes. Sometimes you're going to draft Bryce Young. That happens, right? But the CJ Strouds, the Jaden Daniels, those are the guys that win you contests too. Yeah, and this is what makes the Herbert pick fine. All these quarterbacks go. Keep in mind, DraftKings has only been open for a week, so you're not dealing with as much egregious ADPs. I don't think Mason Rudolph's a starter, just like I don't think Kenny Pickett is. He's he's like a floor plan. Maybe it's hey, Aaron Rodgers, make a decision. I think you're thinking along the wrong way, the right way, Stefan. 4 tight end only on 2 QB teams, but it's also fine to do the 3. I think we're just gonna figure out quarterback later and take Marvin Mims here. Plays in the same division as Herbert, might get some playoff stacks. I don't think that's like a crazy rule, Stefan. But I also think it's okay to go 3, 4 on 20 round teams sometimes. No, I'd be in if it's Rodgers. Quite in, honestly. Not like, yes, I got to have him, but live for good spike weeks. Other people will tout that he takes down the play clock, yada, yada. But no, I think both their games mesh well with what Rodgers does well. So I think the team's pretty good here. Again, you hope Hampton, Henderson, Johnson are getting some starts early in the season or some fantasy points. Possibly they won't, though. So definitely going to take a 5th running back at least. Maybe stop at 5, though. Almost assuredly going 3 QB on this team. And probably going 3 tight end. And feel pretty good with my wide receivers because if things work out, Jefferson's in the lineup pretty much every single week. McConkey's in the lineup most weeks. Smith, Downs, Mims, you're getting quite a bit of weeks from these guys as well. You can see the enthusiasm for Ingram for some people. Almost unilaterally, when you get some news, players are going to jump in value. Maybe not for a long time, maybe just for like a week, but it does happen. I would assume no. But I don't think anyone knows for sure. Arguably not a good sign he hasn't signed anywhere yet. Yeah, let's take Drake. Why not? Quite easy to backstack. Means I'm fine stopping with 2 with Herbert and May. This guy's just doing his own thing. Adam Thielen. Yeah, just stopping with Herbert and May. If there's a third that works for me, I'll take him. Like if JJ McCarthy falls to my lap, I'll probably take him, but I'm not going to go out of my way forcing a third quarterback. Pretty easily for me, Drake over Fields, yes. Just because Fields, in my mind, is not guaranteed 17 weeks of starting, and May is. So, and again, Fields is not going to average like 30 points a game. He's going to have a lot of 10-point games, 13-point games, right? So, May got a good ceiling. I like him a lot. I think he could be viewed as an elite quarterback. And again, safety is part of the game here. Whereas like with Fields, I'm not comfortable stopping at 2 a lot. Yes, there was A.J. Dillon news. I decided not to. Yeah, no, I have big faith in Trevor. Trevor's like free on this site. I'm always a Trevor guy, and I'll continue to be. It was a weird trade, but whatever. We got the 4 quarterback drafter here. None of them. Oh, no, one of them stacked. He's got Goff stacked. Not Caleb, though. Not Stroud. And not Prescott. I mean, I do rankings, Dwayne, and I'll do streams. But I tend to do Underdog more. People tend to watch them more. And I like the site better. So McCarthy goes to the Aaron Jones drafter. So it's like, yeah, it's like now I'm just not going to force it. Matt Stafford goes pretty high here to the Puka drafter. So he is forcing it. Let's go Kraft. Same division as Jefferson, so getting some correlation there. The Love drafter just slammed his keyboard down. It's not letting me pull up comments right now. Oh, here we go. Is Kelsey cooked? Yeah, he's not going to be a big part of my portfolio. I can tell you that. Would have taken Kincaid on the wrap. What you're hoping for Kelsey? Couple 2 touchdown games. Stuff like that. But Yeah, I'm not, like I prefer Jonnu Smith over him. No, I'm not on this wavelength. Noah Gray can be fine. He could be like a 600-yard guy. Oh my God. Tank Dell, dude. Hey, man, I love Tank Dell, so I rock with this guy. Let's check in on our friend here. Chase, Jacobs, Hurts, Montgomery, Sutton, Smith, McMillan, Andrews, Bo Nix, Rico, Kate Otten, Diami Brown, and Tank Dell. That's DraftKings, baby. So quite great value on Kraft. Yeah, huge discrepancy on these sites for Keon Coleman. I'm not been that into him, but needing wide receiver, it's possible he has a breakout after guys like Tank Dell, Diami Brown, Quentin Johnston. Seems like a good price on a team that needs wideout. Division correlation with Drake May. So we got this guy on auto draft now. Tank Dell traded to the Broncos. I mean, this team's advancing for sure, right? It's always a team you are like, no. I just wish you could be like a fly on the wall on some of these guys, like just seeing what's going on there. So I think this has turned out quite nice going all these early running backs. Caleb Johnson, some people dinged after the combine. Again, I think he's fine. Again, guys, if you're just turning in, no streams next week, including with Davis. Be back the following week, though. DK is 2 out of 12. So all of these quarterbacks are going. So maybe I'll be stopping at 2. Teams that go 4, it's like, will they go 5? They might. Hit the like and subscribe button. Listen to Scott. I did one draft earlier this morning to prepare my rankings, and it was like the quickest draft ever. Like people were just clicking buttons, which is nice. So we got 2 people in auto draft now. Anytime you slam Diami and Tank, you just click the auto draft button. You're done. You've already won. I mean, wide receiver, tight end, and running back all seem pretty likely. They also need some like guards, I believe. So you don't know with a guy like Harbaugh. Come on, Benny. What you doing, dude? I mean, I'm not a big Leggett guy, but 2 former first-round picks, basically. Keon, technically not right at the cusp, but second-year guys, 13th and 14th round. Nick Westbrook, Akine, and Kareem Hunt. Hell yeah, brother. Lock it in on auto draft. I quite like Penix. I've been betting on Drake London and Penix. It could blow up in my face, but I like it. Let's take Henry to stack with May. It's really not going to surprise me if the Patriots trade for like Dallas Goedert or something like that. But as things currently stand, who else is he throwing to? So 5 more picks left, and I don't really feel forced to do anything, honestly. I feel like I have solid depth everywhere. Almost assuredly getting 9 wide receivers at least. So pencil in 2 for wide receiver, pencil in 1 pick for tight end. And then probably go another running back and another wide receiver. So a 2-5-10-3 or a 3-5-9-3 might do that, depending who's there. Yeah, I mean, I thought the rumor was he was going to get cut or traded, but that hasn't happened yet. So I don't know. He's not been a big part that I've been betting on. Oh yeah, there's a lot of dead teams. The one hole I feel pretty good at saying this team is dead until Kareem Hunt is like the RB1 again. Let's see if there's any other news. There's not. You got it, orangutan. I don't do a ton, but I know there's some DraftKings people out there. I don't think Tyler Warren's anything close to him. I don't know if I've taken Tank yet. I probably did in an early draft. I mean, like, I was going to take him here, man, but he was pick 145, you know? No, I kind of like, I don't know. Opinions go back and forth on Warren and Loveland. Currently, I have Warren pretty buried in my rankings because I think we're just getting people chasing Bowers, which is not Warren. Warren's more of an inline tight end, which is like maybe not good for fantasy, meaning he can block. Loveland is a bigger wide receiver. Some people don't think his athleticism is that good. So I don't know. Jury's out on both, but I'm prone to be betting on the Njokus, Kincaids, Crafts of the world over the rookies. But we'll see the landing spot. Ferg, man, I was a big Ferg guy, but yeah, he's fine. Likely is a good bet for spike weeks, yeah. I still think Andrews is going to get cut. Noah Fant's not been cut yet either. There's still guys who are going to get cut or restructured. I wouldn't be feeling great about a Stafford Rodgers duo only. No, I wouldn't do that. Sure, man. We'll take Wicks. Same division as Jefferson and Kraft. Yeah, I think Travis Hunter. In general, I'm varying my builds more. Yeah, that sums it up. Building more hero RB. Let's take Dart. He probably would be there, but I'm still a believer in first round Jackson Dart. And that's a prior I'm gonna post draft, Shadur, Dart, opinions will change quickly on that, depending on where they go. But the possibility for Dart is that he's like Drake made, but worse if he's like behind Rodgers. So definitely another tight end. Definitely another running back. Could go 4 tight end on this team too. Probably won't. Probably will go a 9th wide receiver. Yeah, probably going to build a 3-5-9-3. I think Mahomes belongs in the group with Mayfield, Goff, and co. That's where he goes on underdog. DraftKings is going to DraftKings, though, so he's going in the 6th. Wicks is either awesome value or losing his job to a highly drafted rookie. And he's kind of a guy I continue want to bet on. I vary a lot who I take as running back darts. I think it's quite a mistake at this point, and probably even post draft to be like, it has to be Keaton Mitchell, it has to be whoever. It's a tough question, Andrew. I mean, would I draft as much? Probably not. Would I be streaming? Probably not. Would I still like fantasy football and draft some? Probably, yeah. But that's a question everyone needs to face for themselves. Yeah, the DraftKings market's newer. There's not been a lot of volume yet either, so. I mean, sure, man. Adonai Mitchell. Downs and Mitchell just trying to capture the big plays. Hopefully I don't have to do either, man. Like, I know some people's rankings are just like a blended pull from other people. That's not how I make my rankings. I go line by line and I adjust it. So it takes me a while. But it's what I think you should be doing. Let's get Chiggy with it. Could have taken Will Dissly too. But we got some Colts. We got some Titans. Some mini correlations there. Yes, it is $10, 150 entry max. 150 entry max is always the max. Warehouse, that's a legal issue. I mean, some people are actively doing this. It's not for me, though. Kraft, Henry, and Chig. It's not the most inspiring group, but, you know, they're all vets. Let's see. How many weeks would I have had last year? Above, let's say, 8 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from Chig. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 from Henry. Let's not count the playoffs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 from Kraft. Obviously, not a perfect system there, but you could see it working as long as I'm strong enough at wide out and running back, really. Quarterback, I'm going to be fine as long as May or Herbert's healthy. That's what I was hoping. Now that Chig is maxed RuneScape, maybe he's going to, turn it around. I'm not like fist pumping Mostert to the Raiders. If he survives the draft in a good spot, though, could be okay. No, dude. RuneScape 2 is terrible. Everyone only plays old school RuneScape. So you don't even need to worry about that. I would bet my net worth that the big board winner last year was drafted before the NFL draft, because that is when the contest fills by. There is no big board after the NFL draft. That's when Best Ball Mania is. Probably the RB3. Kenneth Gainwell replacement, but worse. Possibly the RB2. Am I drafting A.J. Dillon? No. Am I ranking him? Also no. If anyone knows RuneScape, this was a thing you could do. Please keep this bit up throughout forever on this channel. Scion Wave 2, buying girlfriend. All right, let's get a running back. Let's go with Khalil Herbert, who apparently doesn't even have an ADP on this site, but we're just hoarding all the Colts. Herbert, Mitchell, Downs. So the team finishes up with Jefferson, Ladd, Bucky, Mario Hampton, Devonta Smith, Henderson, Caleb Johnson, Josh Downs, Herbert, Mims, May, Kraft, Coleman, Leggett, Hunter Henry, Wicks, Dart, Adonai Mitchell, Chig, Khalil Herbert. Dude, the guy who takes Tank Dell was a lock to get Christian Watson. Does Herbert fit the bill as like the best pick for this team? No. I think there's some other running backs I like more, but wanted to get some him. I think pretty high if it fills. To answer the Scion Wave 2, I think it will Cooper Cup. My guess is Jaguars or Patriots. Patriots if he wants the most money. Jaguars if he maybe wants to win. We're doing another one. We're getting water. We'll be right back. Ugh. Everyone drink water. Maybe you need like a break for a week, my friend. But no, this is why you should I'm going to show you guys how to do this. You see this here? This is your position ranks. Your limits, and you should set something here rather than it being 4, 10, whatever. Did some PGA draft or lineups. Unfortunately, didn't get up in time for the Jason Day withdrawal. Were you profitable on DK? Unless you reach a final and do well and you play strictly tournaments, the answer is always no. So, no. Although I was the year before, I didn't reach a final, but I advanced so many teams that maybe I actually was profitable. Not like, more like equal, you know? Dog, you maxed the DraftKings already? Jeez. I'm not seeing it, but I heard it's pretty crazy. It's like a vampire hooks up with someone, something like that. Yeah, I mean, some people do 5 drafts at a time. Thank you for announcing yourself. Welcome, Fazil. I did know you. Appreciate you, Murray. Let's mix it up. Let's go Gibbs. Definitely think I prefer Gibbs over Bijan as well on DK with the PPR. Let's see. Receptions. I don't know. A lot for Gibbs. Bijan got a lot too, though. Not quite as many as Gibbs, though. In general, I keep my rankings pretty similar on DraftKings and Underdog. Really only like the fringe guys. So like Wan'Dale Robinson. Just an objectively a better pick on PPR. Is this a question to me? No, I'm okay. I mean, look, dude. Apparently I'm living rent free. Trey McBride, second round. This was like my thought for a little bit on CMC. I'm still taking CMC, but I do think he's like Jordan Mason getting the second round tender and then paying $5.6 million to him, and then Isaac Rendo. Like every piece of logic seems to be that CMC will not get the same workload as years past. Now, we might not care about that as long as he has huge games at the right time. So, also, like the 49ers lost a lot of talent. They 100% could be the team to trade McCaffrey away at the trade deadline. You know, like Devontae Adams and co, like that could be a trade. Going the double RB start. I'm going to assume that this draft is a little bit more logical than the last one because there was probably a lot of people watching the stream are in this one. I mean, Gibbs, JT, Tyreek Hill feels good. And I pretty much faded Tyreek Hill last year. Not a full fade, but I simply drafted Jamar Chase over him for most of the season. Tony saying he's drafting Quadzilla. Okay, Rake's covered, guys. Just kidding. Yeah, that's a pretty good indicator right there, Pepper Tony. The quarterback's ADP, by the way, on this site is round 2. But yeah, no, that's in, and also like 5 people have said that they're in this one. So this should behave a little bit more like an underdog draft, but we'll see. You never know. Could get some wild cards in there with us. Yeah, I mean, call me crazy, but I don't think CMC single-handedly wins football games for anyone. You do need a roster. It's possible the 49ers roster is still real good, but not a lock. How are you feeling if Gene T lands with the Niners? I don't think that's happening, but how do you feel then? Just curious. Man, I can't wait for the draft. April 24th. I mean, I would still draft CMC. I'd be, it's not, you don't give a second round tender to Mason and draft Gene T unless Shanahan's like, look, we got CMC for the next 20 years, basically. Let's go Tet this time. This dude's killing me, man. You don't need the full clock. Just click someone. Godwin. Interesting. Let's go Olave. Like Kittle. But it seems that this draft, like this guy, a couple wide receiver hungry folks out there. This is ridiculous, man. CMC is the LeBron James of the NFL. Dog, are you CMC's like brother? Hampton, man. That's just my assumption he's going to get the highest draft capital. I think it's pretty chalk safe. G&T and Hampton is most people's 1 and 2. %15. But yeah, I mean, I don't support that. But again, I think it's going to overlay. So how would you feel if the contest only gets 85% filled? My guess is this is their way of battling that. And or they're testing the waters. They're seeing how filled does it get? Do people pay attention to the rakes? Dude is pissing. I'm the LeBron James of best ball, dude. And Michael Jordan. So someone out there got mad I said that. Slammed their keyboard. No. Najee pick 65. Correct. If there's overlay, what happens? It means that no, yeah, you're right. This is going to be like the only draft in the contest where Joe Burrow makes it back to this guy at the 1 hole. Unless one of these guys just want to take him. Yeah, so on overlay for playoff contests, what will happen is 2 out of 12 will advance as normal. And then they're going to start awarding wildcard teams, so the highest scoring non-advancing teams, to fill the playoff portion. Let's go Judkins this time. Big boy Judkins. Plays in CMC or what? I would say he's a first round pick then. Plays and he's in a timeshare, probably roughly where he's going. Let's do it again, man. We got Gibbs, Taylor, Judkins, and Johnson. Might stop at 4 running backs. We'll see how the draft behaves from here. So this guy wanted Baker. Baker ahead of Joe Burrow. I mean, a dream for N-Star here. Correct, yes. That's my opinion, too. I hear what you're saying, man, but I mean, DraftKings didn't even they've overlaid their main contest the past couple of years, so we'll see. I would bet the big board does not overlay. However, this is the first year DraftKings has released pre-draft best ball. So maybe that makes underdog a little bit more likely to overlay. You would assume they're competing somewhat. Just because that's where he's trending, man. Who is the Scalabrini of best ball? Brian Scalabrini. Maybe Johnson should have been a wideout, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, if this wasn't a stream draft, I think guys like Burden, Igbuka, Golden, Ayuk even make it back to the 8th round, but not this time. Even so, it's probably fine. I'm just gonna go maybe even 12 wide receivers in this one. He's fine, man. He's kind of boring, but he just seems perfectly fine. I definitely prefer Aaron Jones and Warren over him, but he averaged 13 PPR points last year. You assume the offense will be better if they take Cam Ward. We're going to take Goff to stack with Gibbs. The Goff Gibbs. Hey, Big Sony. Appreciate the super chat. Any tips for drafting in high stakes, small fields? Well, you're asking the right guy, seeing as I won some high stakes, small fields contest on DraftKings itself. Yeah, my advice would be that definitely get your guys, right? If you're only doing a couple, get your guys. So get, If you're like, if you have some super high conviction on whoever, Jerry Jeudy, Olave, whatever, don't let a round or so make you miss out. Pay attention to the draft room. They can be the softest draft sometimes. You would assume that the higher stakes are not that way, but sometimes you have some mega rich whales who will auto draft and or are terrible. So pay attention. And then in general, the smaller the contest, the more you want to advance, right? So in something like this, I don't even care if I advance. I'm trying to win. But obviously, just getting to the finals, since the finals is a smaller field, is a lot more valuable in bigger buy-ins, smaller field contests. So when you're talking about the bigger board, which is, it's high stakes, but it's not crazy high stakes. It's $100. It's a 23-person final. 4 out of 12 advance, 2 out of 8, 1 out of 8, 23 people. So just getting to the finals is worth a lot because you got a 1 in 23 shot. But that's a weird one because it's 4 out of 12 advance. But yeah, whatever you think is the best structure to advance, I would be jamming that. I don't know. We're building a weird one over here, folks. No, I'm operating with really, dude. I was hoping to go Love and Craft, but of course not. I guess I could have gone Craft first, but then they would have taken Love. There's no winning. Well, maybe that works out for the best for me. Because I do need wide receiver. My plan was to go to like Love, Craft, maybe stop at 2 QBs, 2 tight end, and then just jam wide receivers. Instead, we're going Diggs. Also thought about going Kincaid there. He goes, though. Yeah, Love's really easy to backstack. Obviously, Tua makes sense for me, having Tyreek and Jonnu. I'm not stressed, though, if he's not there. Totally fine to just have Tyreek and Jonnu. Again, Tyreek could be traded at like Tyreek and CMC. These are guys who could get traded at the trade deadline. I mean, Tyreek maybe even before. That's what I'm hoping for. But I could also see him back to Houston or with the Chargers. All bunch of good tight ends fly off the board there. I mean, Diggs was a pretty awesome pick last year. He's obviously risky this year, because who knows what he is now. I think it's unlikely too, just because like Christian Kirk, somewhat overlapping skills. I think Jacoby Myers is fine. But no, I don't think a breakout year. Like he's fine, man. He's behind Bowers. He's a solid pick. Quite unlikely to ever be a league winner, though. And you would think the Raiders might add another guy. Romeo Dobbs goes. Let's take Ferg. Someone did take Tua to stack with Achan. Yeah, Michael Penix was there. I thought about it. Just naked Penix. I also thought about Tank. Think he's a good value. Tillman. He's either a 0 or an awesome pick. Can't get these 3 weeks out of my mind. So the only thing for sure for this team is I'm taking a lot more wideouts. Maybe just wideouts. Seven more picks. Probably get a third tight end. A 2-4, 11-3. I think Goff and Love are good enough to stop at 2. I mean, you got to like the moves the Bills did. Could blow up in their face with Joey Bosa. So Lil Martingale that. Bills. Let's go with Bills versus Ravens. It's hard not to just pick Eagles versus Commanders. I don't know. There's a lot of dead teams. The NFC is more wide open. Because you could see the Bears being frisky. You could see the Lions, the Packers, maybe the Vikings. They've added a lot. We'll just take Wicks here. Stack with Love. Rams for sure. I don't think it would be a surprise. Like the Falcons, if Michael Penix is just like really good. The Bucks, you know. AFC, I mean, it's pretty much the Bills, Chiefs, Ravens still. But then you got question marks around the Bengals. Maybe the Chargers are improved. I think he's just using the Vikings to like get more money. This guy's always indecisive. I mean, it's a little hard to pass on Freiermuth, but also, whatever, man. Freiermuth, who cares about him? I don't know. I'm not seeing this reported anywhere except from you, so sure. Let's see if any news has come down the pipeline. No. Yeah, I mean, after the first couple of days of free agency, it's a little bit slower. Just a reminder, guys, no streams for me next week. If I'm already happy with 2 QBs and Trevor or Stroud drops by 20 plus spots, do you take 3? In general, probably yes, I would. Okay, Derek Carr, he was like going to be the third quarterback for me. It really depends how I feel about the team, Blake. Like at this team, I just feel like I need to be taking wide receivers. So this might not be a team I take a falling Stroud or Trevor. But in general, I want to be scooping value that I like for players. I mean, sure, but I don't see why the Vikings would not. I mean, unless they hate JJ McCarthy. But yeah, I don't know. Sure. Let's do Old Man Cooper on this one. I mean, 16th round, back end of it. I don't think he's retiring. 3 to 4 spike weeks, that's the hope. It would just be weird for Rodgers to like directly follow the Brett Favre timeline. So yeah, I think I am going to stop at 4 running backs. Gibbs and JT, I mean, might be a good enough duo by itself. Like if this was a managed league, you'd be like, cool, I have my running backs, right? But then you got Judkins and Caleb, which both could be league winners, both could be terrible picks. Who knows? Let's go Dalton Schultz this time. Really bad year last year. Same with Ferguson, man. So really, like if Tyreek is a great pick in fantasy, this team's fine. If Tyreek, Olave, McMillan, these guys are pretty much studs. Not counting on Diggs right from the jump. So I need to hit some wide receiver production. And I do think I'm going to do the risky 2-4, 11-3. We got just a rogue Daniel Jones pick. All these guys are the same. Juwan, Chig, Schultz. They're all very similar. I think Cooper, you're hoping he ends up with New England, which I would say is unlikely with them signing Mac Hollins. Would just kind of be weird. The Chargers, also maybe unlikely with them signing Mike Williams. The Texans, don't really want him a team with like the Broncos. Packers would be nice. Maybe I have a stack right now. Seahawks, there's snaps available there. Saints, there's snaps available there. Sure, Michael Wilson. Another very boring player who also could lose his job, but he had some weeks last year. Yeah, I think Dallas and the Raiders both bringing back Cooper seems unlikely. Texans definitely improved their defense. Oh my God, that'd be a death blow. I don't know what this is in reference to, but I like it, Adam. Come in here with the cryptic quotes, my friend. I mean, the Vikings just improved their defense quite a bit. Their corners are a little bit weak, but I mean, their D line now, pretty nice. So we got some rookies. We got some vets. We got some intriguing vets. Sure, man. I can't quit Mike Williams. Obviously, wasn't anything last year. Not landing spot. I think that's a good pairing, Blake. That would feel good. If he's a Jag, I'd be pretty into it. I've not been drafting a lot of Cup as is. Underdog updates the teams day of. Not the same case for DraftKings. Mike Williams is still drawing very live to be a 0. Also drawing live to be hurt. But if he gives you 4 big games. Could be something. Dude, you're chatting away, man. Deontay feels like a guy that no one's going to bother to sign until training camp or something. Or maybe even like injuries. And who knows? Maybe he will never get signed. We've all done it. We've all done it. Hey, good for Michael Wilson. I didn't know that. Yeah, we're going to learn pretty quickly on Mike Williams. It's either going to be like the connection's there in training camp, or it's going to be like he's dust. All right. Taking one more wide receiver. They're all very similar. Sure. No, actually, we'll do Jalen Naylor. Not a guy I really like to take because, I mean, absolutely zero chance of being a league winner. But the reason I took him is because I have Jared Goff and Jordan Love. So taking a Viking, trying to get some game stacks. He has no league winner sense in the sense that like he can't ever be wide receiver 20 on the year without massive injuries. But he does have like spike week capability. You know, had some games last year, mostly off of touchdowns. So our team is Gibbs, Taylor, Tyreek, McMillan, Olave, Judkins, Caleb Johnson, Jonnu, Jared Goff, Jordan Love, Stephon Diggs, Jake Ferguson, Cedric Tillman, Dontavian Wicks, Jaden Higgins, Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz, Michael Wilson, Mike Williams, and Jalen Naylor. Some risk on this team. Only 2 QB. Who knows? You know, hopefully the rookies work out. Only 4 running backs. A bunch of question marks at wideout. Could work though. Seems fine at tight end. That's what I got for today, ladies and gentlemen. Probably be back tomorrow with an underdog stream. And again, no streams next week. Peace out. Like and subscribe. Yeah, Addison suspension makes him a little bit more viable.